Good morning, friends. This morning quote is: "It takes a big heart to help shape young minds." I repeat, it takes a big heart to help shape young minds. Friends, there's no denying the fact that it really takes a big heart to help shape little minds. This means that teaching and guiding and nurturing young children requires deep love, endless patience, and profound emotional care. The most important thing that in nurturing the young children is empathetic attitude and patience, and more important, the love and affection that they require: deep love, endless patience, and profound emotional care. Really, it really requires deep love, emotional patience, and deep love and endless patience and profound emotional care for nurturing the young minds. It is beyond simply taking care of the academic facts. Besides academic facts, we have to be empathetic, kind, caring, passionate, and we have to be very loving to the young minds because they're very delicate. Their fragile mind often needs a lot of deep love. It often needs a lot of care, a lot of, attitude in patience. It requires a lot of perseverance to shape their future. Besides teaching, besides educating them, it is very important to understand their mental mindset and accordingly have to act because they are the future of the nation. They are the treasure of the nation. They are the building blocks of the nation. If you are not going to shape them in a proper way, the nation would never progress. Friends, these young minds require a big heart, patience, and mistakes. Children learn slowly and test boundaries. Guiding them needs can help, but it needs calm and gentle correction rather than frustration. Even if a child at a very early stage of his learning and schooling commits mistake, don't get frustrated. Try to correct him with the love and patience. Give him a chance. Give him an opportunity to relearn and learn again and again. Children learn very slowly, and if they need some, they always need the freedom from the boundaries. They go beyond the boundaries of the restriction of test. So guide them then very gently, calmly, and rather being very empathetic to them. Empathy plays a great role in nurturing these young minds. Empathy and listening. Educator must kneel to a child's level, come down to the child's level, understanding fears and feeling of the kids. We see the little children, the young minds are full of potential. They're very creative, they're very sensitive, they're very intelligent. The only thing that we need is to tap out their talents, kneel down to their level. Don't think with your own level. The children need to kneel down to their level, understanding their fear and feelings of, a kind of uncertainty in their mind, and try to explain every bit of thing with a lot of patience and perseverance. A big heart fosters a safe space where children can feel valued, building their confidence and trying and fall safely. See the fact that or even if the children are in secondary and higher secondary stage, they need a lot of care. An educator has to understand the psychology of learning. What is the psychology of learning? What do the children really need to learn? The psychology of learning says that a child must learn gradually. You can't really impose certain instruction on the children. They are very brilliant. They have a lot of you know patience. They have a lot of perseverance. They They know that their brilliance is not simply confined. The children's brilliance is not confined to only bookish knowledge. They have a lot of patience. They have lot of talent, creative ideas. So if you really want to tap out their creative ideas, you have to appreciate every small, work done by them. Well, particularly, the parents also have to understand that these young minds need a very, delicately to handle their feelings and emotions. Always try to understand their feelings and emotions, then only they will have holistic development. See, when a child enters the middle classes stage 7 and 8, he or she needs not only the education through patience and perseverance, they also need the feedback. The child must, you know, be allowed to express himself or herself to give us the feedback what the child has not been able to understand. If the child is little bit slow, kneel down to his level. Don't be too fast and try to inculcate certain things which the child badly needs. See, there are innumerable examples that in class 11 and 12, the children all of a sudden get a huge bulk of syllabus and they start, feeling the burden of syllabus. That time, the educators have to be very, very careful and they have to go educating them and explaining the concepts part by part and making them comfortable by allowing them to understand the concept and giving them a full chance to express their difficulties, because when you are teaching physics, there are stages in class 11 and 12 where the child needs the knowledge of calculus, needs the knowledge of integration and differentiation. That time the physics teacher must understand the difficulty that the child has for the first time uh, you know made an analytical approach on differentiation and integration. So he or she has to be explained what is the if y equal to x or y equal to sine x, then dy by dx is cos x, because differentiation of sine x is cos x dx, and when you integrate cos x dx it becomes sine x plus c. So you have to explain the child that what are the real implication of those concepts when you are integrating the time t with distance. What will be the symbol? You have to explain how the motions can be kinetically expressed. So class 11 and 12 also, you need a big heart, you need a big approach. The approach must be very analytical, very diagnostic. Many of the physics teachers, they start deriving big derivation in physics without really explaining them the little bit of concept has to be taken, because the competency based test generally needs very deep knowledge of concept. Nowadays what is happening, that the questions are asked on competency based, critical based, your diagnostic, application based. You are not going to be on you the examination, the competitive examination, JE and IT advanced, they don't give a straight question. They give the questions on testing the competency, the application part of the child. If the child has learned any theory of motion, then he or she must understand to apply that concept to solve numerical problems which are twisted beyond imagination. The questions are twisted, and in one question there could be 6 to 7 applications of the derivations. So one derivation will not help solve the physics problem. You need to have multiple of derivations and application of concepts. So friends, it is very important that the educator should have the understanding of the fragile mind of the children. They are very sensitive. They should not be discouraged at any stage of their life, whether they are in secondary stage or higher secondary stage or primary stage or pre-primary stage. Every child is full of potential. His mind is very delicate. You have to nurture the child in a way that he should be nurtured by a small kid when he is in his mother's lap. A kid in the mother's lap is fully safe. In the similar manner, a child in the classroom should feel that he is in the lap of his mother rather than he is in the classroom. Do not concretize the walls of the classroom. Give them the freedom to go beyond the text and think critically and analyze the situation. Make them reflect upon the concept that you have taught. Reflection of the conceptual, knowledge must be a core ideas in making the child learn very quickly. You have to make the child free from any kind of boundary and restriction. Let the child think beyond imagination and let him explore how he can make an application of that very concept in more than one way. Simply restricting that no, my answer is correct, that will really make the child, quite, confined to limited knowledge. If the child has to really be brilliant enough and he has to explore ideas and make innovative approach to learning, he must be given the freedom to explore beyond the imagination, and he should be nurtured with all the delicacy, all the empathy, all the sensitiveness of his mental mindset, because the child mindset must be fully enthusiastic and curious to learn. He should be encouraged to go for curiosity of learning rather than making a boundary with the four walls of restriction. Let the textbook be the basis, but let them explore beyond the textbook what they really infer from the concept. So the educators need to have a big heart. They have to have patience, empathy, understanding, and they should have the core ideas of how they can really nurture these delicate minds and make them completely mature with knowledge, skill, and application of concept. And that is what Edison believes. Thank you. Have a nice morning.